What's going on, guys? Welcome into another episode of the Final Drive podcast / YouTube video here at the Sour Kids Production Studios. It is Alec. It is DeAndre. As you notice, we don't have a squad, but no worries. In the world of sports, it is always next man up. But in this case, it's like playing Madden. You put your kicker in a quarterback, and then you put your long snapper at tight end.
I've never faced that situation in Madden. I hope I never do. But I guess, yeah, that's
Nonetheless, it's all right. We're going to kill it as always. So, DeAndre, before we dive into what has happened in the world of the NFL and pop culture and all that, how you doing, dude?
doing good, man. Doing good. What about
Chilling?
yourself?
Chilling. Back in the saddle as far as employment goes. So that's
Nice.
it's a GG in the chat right there. So besides that, mad chilling really. We've published a mock draft over at Canal Street Chronicles after this big trade the Saints made with the Eagles. I thought it was a pretty good draft.
Yeah.
We've had in our Twitter chat, it's been chaos over what to do at 16.
Yeah.
Because some people feel the quarterback's the move. Some people want the tackle and the receiver. Because, hey, I'm telling you, dude, Jameis stands on Twitter, they're weird. Like, they swear that Breeze and Winston, there's no drop-off. But,
Well, are you a Jameis stan? Like,
I mean, he's cool. But, I mean, obviously the Saints, 2-year deal with, like, what, 21 is guaranteed. Like, that's not starting quarterback money. Like, if they feel like a guy, whether it's Pickett or Willis, falls to 16, and if they feel like that's the guy, then hey, go get the guy. But I'm not open. I'm open to upgrading the position. If they feel like they can realistically.
do you feel like there's a guy in this draft that you're like open to, or is this like one of those? Because to me, I feel like I don't know. Like this draft won't
It's
compare
weird.
to next year's draft for sure.
Right.
It's like it's a weaker draft compared to recent years as well. So.
Right. I mean, I feel like, and that's the notion with this quarterback class. I mean, we were at the Senior Bowl. We saw some of these guys go through the practices, in clear skies, and then when the rain hit Alabama, we were down there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in my opinion, there's maybe. I like Malik Willis. I mean, to me, he's probably QB1. And then I only say this because Matt Corral, with the injury late in the year, didn't get to do the combine. I don't think he's going to do his pro day stuff, right?
No, he did it. He did his pro day.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, so, I mean, now, Matt Corral could easily be QB1, but, the injury kind of set everything back for him. So, I don't know. Malik Willis is the guy I would probably feel comfortable taking. And even then, none of these guys are ready to start week 1, I think.
Right. Maybe Pickett's probably has the best chance of starting week 1 for sure.
So, I mean, we'll see. But, I mean, we kind of teased it a little bit ago, but the Saints-Eagles made this huge draft day trade earlier this week. For the Eagles, they received, basically, they swap first-round picks, and then the Saints get one of the Eagles, one of the 3 first-round picks they had at 19, which belonged to the Colts, which they got in the Carson Wentz trade, because Wentz played over 70% of the snaps, so went from a 2 to a 1. So the Eagles get pick 18 this year. They get the Saints' third-round pick this year, as well as the 7th-round pick, and then a next year first-round pick, and a 2024 second-round pick. And then the Saints get 2 first-round picks this year, 16-19, and then a 6th-rounder in exchange. Let's go to the Eagles side of things first, DeAndre, because I feel like we might have the same thought here on this. To me, though, this feels like the Eagles this year felt like there's not a quarterback worth taking because they have three ones. So if you wanted your guy, you could have easily traded up to get him.
Correct.
Or probably could have sat there and taken him, depending on the board goes. But to me, it gives them. They're saying, Jalen Hurts, you have another year to prove to you. Prove to us that you are the guy. You got us to the playoffs last year, but I think nobody, really expected the Eagles to be in the playoffs. So, to me, it gives a boast of confidence to Hurts that maybe, he's the guy at least for this year again.
Yeah, and for Philly, I think this was probably the best course of action that they could take, giving Jalen Hurts another year. Obviously, that first year with under Nick Sirianni, a lot of questionable decisions, throughout.
Right.
But eventually, towards the end of the season, they did kind of find their identity, being this run-oriented style offense that can go into an RPO style attack as well. So, I have confidence in Jalen Hurts. I think he could be the guy in Philly. In Philly, we look at everything they've tried to acquire. They were a team that was very interested in Deshaun Watson, although Deshaun Watson wasn't interested in Philly. They've been in that position where we want to upgrade the position, but like Deshaun Watson is Deshaun Watson. Like that's the only
Right.
way. And then pretty much everybody else, like the draft, they didn't feel confident this year that any of these rookies would be a better player, would put this team in a better position than Jalen Hurts would put it. So obviously, if Jalen Hurts isn't the guy this year, then they have all the draft ammo to move up next year for a Bryce Young or a C.J. Stroud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, and to your point also, I mean, I think we all kind of thought initially when the offseason started, whether it was Watson, whether it was Russell Wilson, we all thought the Eagles, okay, 3 first-round picks, they have the most ammo possible to try and make a move, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, they sat back, decided to wait and see how the market played out for some of these higher-tier quarterbacks, and then in the end, just felt like let's get more ammo for next year's draft. Do what we can this year to help Jalen Hurts, give him the best opportunity, to play well, and then evaluate from there if we have a guy or not.
Right.
So, cool for Philly. I mean, I feel like Jalen Hurts. It's tough to play in Philadelphia. I mean,
oh yeah.
I mean,
I've heard many things about Philly fans, and it's.
I mean, whether you're Ben Simmons, whether you're Carson Wentz, life
Yeah.
can hit you pretty fast in the city of brotherly love.
Quite ironic, right?
I know, right? So, and for New Orleans, I feel like, to me, this was a trade that didn't scream quarterback as the move for me. I feel like the Saints feel like, in my opinion at least, I think in an NFC where you saw, Green Bay lose Devontae Adams, you kind of saw the Cowboys lose several guys of their own. There were questions in Arizona, about what's exactly going on there. Really, the only competition I see is L.A., and then potentially Tampa with Brady coming back, right? Well, that's your 1 and 2 seed in the NFC. New Orleans feels like they got a chance, with the defense, with the healthy Jameis, healthy Mike Thomas. You could potentially use these 2 picks to get a Trevor Penning to replace Teron Armstead, and then grab the best receiver on the board, whether it's Olave, whether it's Jamison Williams, Trey Burke from Arkansas, whoever it might be. The Saints probably feel like they could still compete in the NFC with it kind of being as weak and wide open as it is right now. So, could it be quarterback? Sure. It could be Kenny Pickett, depending on the board falls. Could be Malik Willis, depending on the board falls. Because I think, to me, and we'll talk about this later during our mock draft, the quarterback position is weird. Because I could see, where it goes on a run. I could see, Atlanta, Carolina, Seattle, Washington potentially all taking a quarterback. But then again, at the same time, I could see them all not taking a quarterback. So, it's weird, but I think, if you're New Orleans, I think, honestly, what they're going to do is take the best 2 players on the board, and roll with Jameis this year and just see what happens. And if they, need a quarterback, get a quarterback. But also, I think they're comfortable giving away a first-round pick next year because if and when, and I say this because I think it's going to happen, when Sean Payton comes back and wants to coach, somebody's going to have to trade for his contract, and I think the Saints will net back, the picks that they gave to Philly,
right,
in a Payton trade. So
interesting. I didn't think about the whole Sean Payton aspect.
Yeah, I think that's why they're okay with giving away a first rounder and then a second rounder in 2024.
Right. I mean, from the Saints perspective, it's like, I'm just gonna let you know this now, my brother. They ain't making the playoffs next year. Let's go ahead and already get that.
I think they can. I think they can be a wild card team easily.
I'm not. They're like literally fringe wild card team. Like they would last week of the season, they got to win out or something. It's gonna be one
if
of those
they draft
scenarios.
one of these premier wide receivers in the first round. Does that change your opinion?
Probably still. Yeah, probably not.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I just don't know. I don't know with Jameis, especially a full year under his belt, coming off an injury. So I still have some questions about this team. I actually got. It's one of those things where remember when we were talking about the Saints and before last year, and then they came out and beat the Packers week 1, and we were like, oh, okay, all right, maybe the Saints maybe they got something this year. So it's like, kind of like one of those situations where like, okay, we're gonna have to actually see them perform on the field, especially losing a guy like Sean Payton as head coach. I don't know how that's gonna affect the team
Offensively. I mean, Dennis Allen will be fine with the defense, but
Yeah,
I mean, this was a team that went through so many different things, and they were still one game out of the playoffs.
Right.
And had the Niners lost Week 17, they were the wildcard team to get in.
right.
So I mean, we'll see.
Anything's possible. I'll say that. I think from the Saints, also another thing to add from the Saints' perspective, it's like they saw, especially when we look back at like when Sean Payton left, like who they were hiring as head coach. They made sure to hire a guy who was in-house, Dennis Allen, because they wanted to keep that same consistency from last year heading into this year. So they were willing to forge their future draft pick for next year because they feel like they're going all in this year. They feel like they have the roster to compete, which respect to them, and they lost some positions like you mentioned with Terran Armstead leaving. So
Marcus Williams.
Yeah, Marcus Williams as well. So, getting that draft capital this year, they don't have as much cap space to sign bid stars in free agency, so you might as well build the depth with the draft. So smart move for them. From a perspective of, okay, we think we can compete this year, so we're going to put it all on the line through this draft.
Yeah, and then potentially you could still add in a guy like Tyrann Mathieu to the mix.
Yeah,
to help replace, Marcus Williams, and then you bring in Marcus May to kind of help replace the role Malcolm Jenkins played. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it all depends what they do in the draft. I'm extremely intrigued as to what their approach is because I could see it being for a quarterback, but at the same time, like you said, I think maybe they feel that this team can't compete right now in the NFC and still has a shot to make some noise. So why not forge it all for this year and just see what happens, and then you just bank on the idea of you're going to get your draft picks back from Sean Payton next offseason.
Yeah. Plus,
particularly from the Cowboys.
New Orleans don't plan on drafting a quarterback until, 2025, 2026. They don't go for Arch Manning when he comes out.
It makes sense because Archie Manning is the only quarterback we've ever taken in the first round. Yep. So, if it can go from Arch to Archie, I'm cool with that. Archie to Arch, my fault. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. Draft night's going to be certainly a lot of fun to do and break down, that's for sure.
Can I ask you this, though?
Yeah.
How confident do you feel in the Saints making the picks? Because, we look at last year's draft and that Peyton Turner pick.
True.
We don't know.
See, we know later on picks. Like, Peyton Turner was... And he got hurt, so it's kind of an incomplete grade. But Paulson Adebo...
Well, he got hurt, but he was also a third round. Like, he had a third round grade before you guys picked him, which is question. Considering all the guys that you guys passed up on that you could have picked, it's like, okay, New Orleans.
It's pain.
Yeah.
It's pain. But, you hit on Adebo, and he's kind of been a solid number 2 corner. You hit on Pete Warner from Ohio State. He seems to be a guy who's going to, play a lot this coming year, so... Later on picks, I'm not worried about because we kind of nailed those. But as far as we got 2 of them now, so let's get it right. Whether it's quarterback, receiver, tackle, receiver, whatever it is, just get it right. That's all I really care about.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But another news earlier this week: Stefon Diggs, he signed a 4-year extension, $96 million, with $70 million guaranteed. He will likely retire his career in Buffalo. It's kind of cool how the Bills are not relevant again, right?
Yeah.
Like when Diggs went there, people were questioning, especially because the whole AB thing happened with Buffalo, right? Where he did not want to go to Buffalo, then went to Oakland instead.
Right.
Now you look at the Bills; they're one of the premier teams in the NFL. Stefon Diggs put out a pretty cool post about he wants to retire Bills Mafia, and he kind of feels like this was the plan all along. So happy for Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, great for him. What's funny is because we look at Buffalo and their fans, probably some of the best fans in the league.
They are, yeah. Bills Mafia, yeah.
Yeah, they've been with them since day one. So it's funny because I think about how Buffalo transcended because we look back at those, Trent Edward, Ryan Fitzpatrick days.
EJ Manuel,
which by the way is Trent. Those Marshawn Lynch, Trent Edward. jerseys, they were like literally the ugliest jerseys I've ever seen.
The
in the NFL.
2000s, yeah,
Yeah, worst uniforms ever. Uh, but I mean, we look at that, and then we look at how they were fringe playoffs to that team that you kind of didn't want to face in a wild card because they were a tough team under Tyrod Taylor
and Sean McCoy
and Sean McCoy,
Yeah.
and now you see with Josh Allen and to where they are now as a championship contending team. So, shout out to Stefon Diggs for getting that contract, and I always mention how like it's one of those rare trades with him and Justin Jefferson, from Minnesota. Like
It
both
worked
teams
out.
won. And I told you guys this last week about Stefon Diggs. I told you he wasn't leaving Buffalo.
Right.
Like y'all said, oh, Stefon Diggs is the next one to get traded. I'm like,
Man,
have y'all seen Josh Allen's
I didn't
numbers?
say that.
Someone who wasn't here said that. Certainly.
The blasphemy was from someone else.
Yeah, so I'm not going to name names. Cough, cough, Javante. But like, yeah, we look at Josh Allen's numbers without Stefon Diggs. It's not impressive.
No, it's there. You can tell it's there.
They're average, but
and I mean, as much credit as Brian DeBall gets, and he should for Allen's, transition to questionable rookie to superstar, Stefon Diggs has just as much to do with that as DeBall did.
Yeah,
getting him that proven number one receiver.
And like most teams, what they'll do, like they look at a playoff performance from Gabriel Davis, and they're like, oh, you know what, Gabriel Davis could be a good number one receiver for us. And then guess what? He actually plays without having single coverage, because that's one of the reasons why he breaks out often in games, because you're bringing a safety over to cover Stefon Diggs,
right?
That double coverage. So I'm glad they didn't make that mistake.
Right,
good for them.
And talk about an offseason where receivers are getting paid. Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and then Devontae Adams all securing their bags. Must be nice to be an NFL wide receiver right now.
I'm saying it's good though, because we looked at it 5 years ago, and we were talking about how we always talked about like how quarterbacks get these huge contracts, and everybody's like, okay, well, what's the receiver getting? Like, they give as much effort. They're the ones that help the quarterback reach those highs in their game. So it's nice to see a balance in both, that both the receiver and quarterbacks are benefiting under this new salary. So
yeah, I mean, I love it, and you can only imagine with the TV deals coming in, the next couple of years, and then the cap growing and recovering from COVID, that more and more of these guys are going to get their due days. If you look at Justin Jefferson, probably the three guys that are that have been rumored trade wise, AJ Brown, Metcalf, and Deebo Samuel.
Yeah,
they'll all probably get paid here pretty soon as well. So it's a nice time to be an NFL wide receiver, and despite Stefon Diggs breaking my heart in 2017, I am happy for him. He's a real cool guy, a true pro, a pro's pro, and I'm happy that for the fans of Buffalo, that it's worked out for Buffalo fans, because even before the 2000s, you talk about 4 straight Super Bowls and 4 straight defeats.
Yeah.
You've been through a lot, Bills Mafia.
And be honest, like in those early days, who wanted to play in Buffalo?
Exactly.
Like not many people. Like when T.O. signed with Buffalo, we were like, oh, okay, he did. That's career suicide at this point. Nobody ever expects to play in Buffalo. It's cold as hell, and but it's good to see now like that team has built this reputation as a
destination.
Yeah, as a prime destination. So I mean, look at Von Miller signing there. Nobody expected Von Miller to sign there.
They came out of nowhere. The Bills did. I mean, granted, they threw money at him, but still, nonetheless.
But he reached out to them about wanting to play.
Yeah.
There. So
exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, who would have thought? Their guys were always leaving Buffalo in free agency, but never going to Buffalo. But it's worked out now for the Bills, nonetheless.
Yeah,
I'm happy for them. Now let's discuss the Niners, because I got some problems going on. Well, we don't know anything for sure, but it looks like Deebo Samuel pulled the Kyler Murray, went to his Instagram, his Twitter, cleared everything about the 49ers. His profile picture, all of his posts. And you're thinking, on the one hand, it could be, at the end of the day, it could be nothing or something, but nonetheless, it did happen. And it doesn't really help that, coincidentally, over the last, week and a half, there have been rumors of, teams are calling about Deebo, AJ Brown, and DK because, it's the last year of their deals. and they're trying to see what's up with them as far as contract talks go.
Right.
So, what do you what do you think we're overreacting? Do you think it's gonna be we're just blowing this up like the Kyler Murray thing?
No, not well, because I mean, we look at Debo. Debo's in the final year of his rookie contract.
Probably put together one of the most stellar
Yes.
all around seasons for a wide receiver ever.
Unheard of.
A true weapon.
Yes. And how much he factors into that 49ers offense, and just their path to the NFC Championship. They wouldn't have got there without Debo Samuel.
Right.
Let's go ahead and state that right now.
Right.
This feels like you ever watch like those invasion movies where you're like, this is the first wave, this is the second wave, and everything happens. Okay, this is the first wave right now. This is the first wave by Debo and his agent, which they're playing it smart.
Right.
Hey, right now, let's go ahead, delete everything Niners off social media. Get the fans. Just think about it. Fans are going to start adding the team and talking about, oh, we need to pay this man, like for real. And then the second wave, which I'm pretty sure is going to be him missing off-season workouts.
Mm-hmm. Or them leaking information out.
Yeah, leaking information out. Then you hit the nuts wave, which is training camp, and then everything else after that. But it's a smart play by his agent because, let's be honest, I think Debo's probably going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL just because of everything else that he does as well as just playing receiver. Like, he's a running back.
He can block.
Yeah, so I think he'll reset the market for sure.
I mean, as he should. The year he put together this year, like you said, like without Debo, the Niners probably aren't even in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Excuse me, without Debo Samuel. So I mean, it's just crazy. Now I want to talk about the quarterback as well. So I think going into this year, we all kind of thought Jimmy G was gonna be traded, right? Mm-hmm. After this year. But then we saw Deshaun Watson get traded. Aaron Rodgers stayed. Russell Wilson got traded.
Carson Wentz. Matt Ryan
got traded. Derek Carr re-upped. Kyler Murray had his thing happen.
Yep.
There's the whole Baker Mayfield situation.
The musical chairs happened, and Jimmy G is still trying to find
Jimmy G, yeah, exactly. So it's like, what is... And we know he had the shoulder surgery. But I'm kind of wondering, do you think maybe this goes a little deeper into maybe the Niners think Trey Lance is not ready to start yet?
Shit, he better be. Everything you gave up to get this guy, we all assume that this was going to be the same thing as Pat Mahomes, man, where
right.
You had this placeholder in Alex Smith. He's good, but he can't get you
the playoffs.
Yes, he can get you the playoffs, but he can't get you the Super Bowl. Like he comes up short. And then they tested it this year with Jimmy G. Because at one point they did start Trey Lance for a couple of games when Jimmy G was hurt.
Yeah.
That could have been Trey Lance's opportunity to take, the starting job.
But he didn't.
Not saying he played terrible, but, he didn't, let's say, leave a great impression.
It wasn't like Dak and Romo in 2016.
Yeah, like it wasn't enough to be like, oh, this guy is clearly better than Jimmy G.
Right.
So they tried it with Jimmy G. They came up short. Credit to Jimmy G. But he's going to be missing most of this offseason because he's recovering from that shoulder injury, which is most likely the reason why he wasn't traded to Indy or any of those other teams. Because
now you're likely stuck with them.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Honestly, it's because I don't know if you're the Niners, do you want Trey Lance heading into this year as your starter, knowing that Jimmy G is on the bench, kind of pressuring him to perform, because I would think a guy like Trey Lance, especially when he first starts, he's going to make some mistakes, like some still of those early rookie mistakes.
And his whole thing coming out of North Dakota State was he had, limited starts under his belt in college. Going into the NFL now is a whole different, it's different. Mm-hmm. So.
And the crazy thing with Jimmy G is if you're the Niners, Jimmy G has $25 million on this year, and he has a cap hit of $2 million. So basically, if you release him, you get about $23 million in salary cap space, which you can use for other needs, for other positions,
or pay Debo,
and that's the thing about Debo. That's why I feel like Debo is right to kind of, voice his opinion on getting a contract right now. Well, voice his opinion by not voicing his opinion, by doing everything, silent.
Right.
But it's because, look, we have a guy on a rookie contract who's going to be on a rookie contract for the next 2-3 years. Like, this is my opportunity to cash in. So I understand why Debo should get paid now, because why not? And then also Trey Lance, you don't want that distraction of having Jimmy G on the bench. And to be honest, I think Jimmy G might get traded on draft night because Carolina, depending on what they do, they could draft an offensive tackle with the first pick and then obviously circle back, trade a pick next year for Jimmy G. And even training camp. Injuries happen.
Right.
The Dolphins, we lost Ryan Tannehill during training camp.
Yeah.
Traded for we didn't trade for Jay Cutler. We signed Jay Cutler. Philly, remember when, or not Philly, Minnesota, remember when Teddy Bridgewater got hurt during training camp and Philly gave up Minnesota gave up a first round pick to Philly for Sam Bradford?
Yep.
So you never know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think if there's any other recent examples. No, I can think of it. But I mean, those are true and valid points. And kind of the Niners are in a tough spot because you kind of think about Trey Lance is the future, right? Mm-hmm. But also Jimmy Garoppolo has handled this like a pro. He's mentored Trey Lance every chance he has gotten. He's been a true pro about this whole entire thing. And the Niners, it would kind of be a crappy thing on their part if you cut him, going into the regular season where he really didn't have the opportunity to pick where he wanted to go.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to be a backup somewhere.
And could it be the Niners, like the fact that they're, they want such a high pick for him that they're like other teams aren't willing to give up, especially with him coming off the injury. Like,
yeah, I mean, Wentz went for what, a third?
Yeah, yeah. And I'm pretty sure the Niners probably think they can get a second for Jimmy G right now.
Yeah, the most you're going to get is a third.
Yeah.
For Garoppolo.
Agreed. But like I said, because of it, like if a training camp injury happens, it's
different.
Yeah, demand goes up. So a team could be like, all right, we need to win out. Tom Brady could get hurt in the preseason. I'm not knock on wood.
I'm not gonna knock on wood.
But they could trade. Wow, sorry.
But I'm tired of that old man.
Yeah, but let's say Tampa Bay, where a team with Super Bowl aspirations loses their quarterback, you don't think they would trade a first round pick that year or for the next year to get a guy like Jimmy G?
No, he's probably the best option. It's Jimmy G, it's Baker Mayfield. Is that really it?
Those are
trade as far as trading goes. It might be just that. Yeah, you probably could take Jimmy Garoppolo, right? The safer bet among the two.
Exactly. He's the game manager guy where, hey, we only need you to throw about 20 passes max a game. And that's it.
Exactly. So I mean, hey, we'll see what happens. It's gonna be interesting to see how this works out for Trey Lance because I don't know what they're gonna do. But hey, I mean, draft night, you never know. I mean, Rosen got shipped on draft night, so we'll wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because Rosen went for a third, right?
Second.
Second?
Gave up a second for him, yeah.
Sheesh.
I know.
Sheesh. Okay.
Didn't even start most of the year for us. Ain't that a shame?
Hey, you were trying to see what you had in the guy. In other NFL news, Tyrann Mathieu visited with the Saints and the Eagles this past week. Steve Wilks and Ray Horton, former head coach Wilks, and then Ray Horton, defense coordinator, have joined the Brian Flores lawsuit against the NFL for racial discrimination. So, kudos to them. I believe there's an interview. It's a podcast
with Mike Munchak, right? Or not Mike
Malarkey.
Malarkey, yes.
Funny last name. But yeah, where Mike Malarkey, who interviewed for the Titans OC job, I believe, in 2020.
Or I think wasn't it the head coaching job?
Was it the head coaching job?
I think it was.
Okay. Because it was before they hired Vrabel.
Yeah.
Okay, so both of them interviewed for the job. No, it had to be a coordinator gig. Because how would Malarkey have been told he got the job? Because he wasn't a head coach.
Hey, they told Brian Dable he got the job.
No, Malarkey didn't become head coach though.
Oh, yeah.
So it must have been an OC gig. It must have been a coordinator gig.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, but basically, the story goes Malarkey was told during the interview that he got the job, and basically Ray Horton was a checklist for the Rooney Rule. So, nonetheless, the NFL is getting some serious heat behind all of this. So, did you see the story about Brady in Miami? Did you see like the checklist of things that were going to happen?
Man, I don't believe
You
none of
didn't see
that.
it? Did you see it?
The checklist? No, I actually didn't.
Let me pull that up for you real quick, and then we'll go into our mock draft. Let me see if I can find it. There's like a whole like let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so you ready for this, DeAndre?
Mm-hmm.
You ready? Because it looks like Miami was very close to getting a Brady and a Sean Payton team up in Miami. So this is how it goes. This is how it all went down. Okay. So in February, Pro Football Talk reported that the Dolphins made a play for Tom Brady. Trying to check on the water, seeing what was up with Tom Brady and the Bucks. And they had a plan put together to get Brady out of Tampa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how it goes is the week before the Super Bowl, the Dolphins were going to announce that Tom Brady was going to be on board as a minority owner of the team, right? So by having Brady be a minority owner of the team, that would then give Dolphins, kind of leverage to talk to Tampa about getting a trade done for Tom Brady to get him out of Tampa to Miami.
Right.
Then the Dolphins have acknowledged that they privately reached out to Sean Payton and the Saints about getting a deal done and trading for the head coach. But then this is where it all hit the fan pretty fast. So the Dolphins were hoping to make an announcement about Brady joining the ownership group the week before the Super Bowl. But before that could happen, the team was hit with a Brian Flores lawsuit, right?
Sure.
Which was filed the same day Tom Brady announced retirement, February 1st. That's not even the craziest thing. The craziest thing is that in the Flores lawsuit, Flores alleges that the Dolphins owner, Stephen Ross, tried to get him to tamper with another team's quarterback by meeting with an unnamed quarterback on Ross's yacht. Now, as we know, there were rumors and reports about Tom Brady and Sean Payton meeting up on Stephen Ross's yacht. So we kind of put two and two together. We assume it's Brady, right? Mm. The craziest thing is Tom Brady showed up to this meeting with Stephen Ross on his yacht. Like you see how close this all was to happening? Like Miami was behind the doors working on this deal to get Brady and Payton together in Miami. And then the Brian Flores lawsuit basically, it blew everything up.
Damn. Hey, well, I can say this, At least I know my team ain't trying to, they actually are trying to win. Like, they're trying to to do all they can to win out here. Damn, they really were shooting for the stars for that.
They were, but then with the Flores lawsuit and then with it saying that he was supposed to tamper with that unnamed quarterback.
So basically what you're saying is Brian Flores found another way to fuck us.
Yeah.
Oh.
He found a way to harpoon gun the dolphin.
Yeah.
Ocean reference.
Like Blackfish. Yeah, he blackfished us.
Yeah, pretty much. But it looked like all this was happening behind the scenes.
Yeah,
and Miami was, this is all happening pretty fast.
Which tampering violations, I'm pretty sure, right? In a way.
Yeah, in a way, but I feel the NFL isn't as hard on tampering as it is with the NBA.
Yeah.
Because the NBA is pretty, they don't like that tampering.
But hey, shout out to Steve Ross. Hey, he tried to do what he could, man, to get the GOAT to come to Miami. Which
he tried to get you Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he tried to get Joe Burrow as well. Which I mean,
Brian Flores had to go win games. He had to go do his job and have integrity.
Yep. God damn it. Just lose one or two games, Brian. It was just 1 or 2 games. That's all you had to do.
Right.
Especially to Cincy. We should have lost that game. Damn it. But no, I mean, considering where we are this offseason, I mean, this ain't a bad plan B to have.
Right. Because you probably don't get Armstead, you probably don't get Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
All the free agents that you have acquired, with Brady's contract.
Exactly. And when you think about that, you're like, oh, shit. Like, to think we could have got we were trying to get Tom Brady and Sean Payton. We didn't, so we ended up getting Mike McDaniel, but we got Tyreek Hill. Like,
Right.
That's not a bad trade, you know? That's not a bad.
Now you truly surround Tua with the most weapons, and you do the best to make him succeed.
Yeah.
So you see what you got in Tua now, finally.
For sure. And I think he's going to perform, man. I'm going to state this here. He's going to perform this year.
Don't let Javonte and Mekhi hear you say
I don't give a damn. They can hear it all they want. Top 15 quarterback in the league.
I mean, with those weapons, I think you're talking top 13, top 12. Possibly.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised because of the weapons.
Yeah.
So that's crazy how all that almost happened and looked like it was gonna happen, but then Brian Flores' lawsuit kind of put a damper on things.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
So,
I mean,
for the right reason. I mean,
like the whole throwing us under the bus about the whole tanking thing. I think he could have left that part out of the whole documentation. You know,
just the racial discrimination is all that needed to be put out.
Exactly, because we weren't a part of the racial discrimination. That's on New
Giants.
York, the Broncos. That's on them. That's not on us. It's tough, man. Like, but I'm happy for him doing this lawsuit. I know he had a lot at stake, in his career. I'm glad that he was still able to find a job in Pittsburgh as a linebackers coach
with Mike Tomlin of all people.
Yeah, which shout out Mike Tomlin's just one of the goats, bro. He's
a warrior.
Knows how to do it. Truly one of the best in the game. But yeah, that's tough.
Yeah,
it's funny because I don't know if you remember Joseph from high school, Joseph Williams. Yeah, he's a big like Tom Brady fan. So like when he jumped to New England to Tampa,
he was that guy.
Yeah. So if Tom Brady would have went to Miami and Joseph would have said, "Oh, I'm a Dolphins fan," I would be like, "No, get the fuck away!" Like, no.
If you weren't there for the Pat White and the Chad Henne years, no, I don't want you.
You're not part of it. Like, no, don't come in here.
If you weren't there for the one magical year in 08 with the Wildcat, I don't want to hear it.
And that's not just him. That's a lot of people who would have came to Miami. I would have been like, "No, get out of here. Get the fuck out of here." Because one thing for sure. You guys were former Patriots fans, so no, definitely no. Get the fuck out.
Division rivals, yeah.
Exactly. No. Go.
I feel that.
We'll take Tom. Leave y'all asses back in New England and Tampa Bay.
Yeah. You have Belichick still.
Exactly.
I get that. Crazy how that almost happened. Okay. Let's have some draft fun now. It's about time we have some draft fun.
I'm here for it.
Kenneth. I haven't mentioned your name all show, Kenneth. How you doing, buddy?
Staying in the shadows.
Doing your thing, Ken. I love it. So, the PFF, Pro Football Focus, has the mock draft simulator, which I feel like everybody does that nowadays. Mm-hmm. We're going to do it as well, but we're going to go to the top 10 picks. And I feel like for the sake of time and just, because we truly don't know what's going to happen, no trades. We'll pick the top 10.
Plus, it's only the two of us. Why not?
This is true, yeah. So, no trades. We're enrolled in the mock draft, and the Jaguars are first on the clock. So, Kenneth, that you can hit that start draft button, sir. Thank you.
Actually, do you think we should do top 16 at least, like half? That way we get half right through the draft.
Okay.
And get to one of your pits with New Orleans. Finish with
that. Kenneth, do me a favor, back out of that real quick.
My fault, Kenneth.
Just, click on like 1 through 16. Yeah. Let's see what we can do with this. I'm excited. Perfect. Okay, so first on the clock is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Aiden Hutchinson, feels like that's the pick, right? Or is it Thibodeau? Or do you think it's tackle still?
That is tough because, I don't know what Doug Peterson's thinking.
Neither do I.
I
mean, they re-tagged Cam Robinson again.
Yeah, that was the big surprise for me is re-tagging him. Do you sign Evan Neal and have Cam Robinson and Evan Neal because Evan Neal can play guard? Mm-hmm. He played guard his first year, moved to tackle when Cam Robinson leaves.
And you cut Andrew Norwell, your big free agent from a couple years ago.
Exactly. So that's tough. I mean, to say Aiden Hutchinson is the surefire number 1 pick.
He's not.
And
to me, I mean, I don't want to sound like a hater, but I'm not big on Hutchinson being number 1 overall either.
I can agree. Well, if he ends up being the number 1 pick, will I be upset? No, because obviously this is a draft where there's no surefire to me.
Exactly.
There's no
That's
surefire.
how I feel about this. Yeah.
And when we look at Aiden Hutchinson, compare him to previous pass rushers in years drafts, like the Bosas, the Garretts, he's not in that category. I don't think he has that that bend. Or,
Thibodeau's closer to that than Hutchinson, in my opinion.
yeah,
Just from sheer physical size and everything.
but the problem with Thibodeau is like teams are questioning his work.
He's boom or bust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
When he's on, he's on, but when he's not, it's pretty noticeable.
yeah, so and also I'm just gonna put this out here because I've seen some mock drafts have this name as well, Trayvon Walker from Georgia,
The defensive tackle.
defensive end.
Or defensive end, yeah.
Like edge rusher. I think he ran like a 4.5 at the combine, which crazy.
Fast dudes. This class is fast.
Yeah, so from a full like physical standpoint, he could be the number one pick in that regard.
It's tough.
He kind of reminds you of Josh Allen as well from
Right.
Jacksonville. So, but I think he'll probably be Hutchinson. I think we probably got to go with him at number
Go
one
Hutchinson.
for now. Yeah.
All right, Kenneth. Agent Hutchinson will be first off the board. Lions. Now, ideally, realistically, I think they will trade out of number 2. I think they will.
Really?
I think they will. I think for the Lions, it's all about the future. They have a buttload of picks from the Rams trade a year ago, so I feel like if they can take the opportunity to trade, they will.
Mm-hmm.
But for the sake of this mock, we're not going to trade because it takes like 30 years to get a trade accepted on this. I personally, I like Kyle Hamilton here at 2. I feel like the Lions, obviously with Jeffrey Okudah a couple years ago, that really hasn't panned out well in their favor yet. Last year they kind of got a real nice surprise out of what's his name? The corner.
You talking about for the Lions?
Yeah.
Jeff Okudah?
No. 24.
Is it Amani Ular?
Uganabe, yes,
Yeah.
yes. He was a very pleasant surprise for them last year. I feel like they need a top-end safety, and, with Marcus Williams hitting the market, I thought with Aaron Glenn there being his former DB coach, I thought that made a lot of sense. They lost the sweepstakes, obviously. Kyle Hamilton, I know his 40 was kind of disappointing during the combine, but I still think he's the best safety in this draft.
Okay. I like Kyle Hamilton too. I think as the 40, I think hurts him a little bit. But
Yeah.
when you look at from the intangibles at playing the safety position, I think he's far off the charts. I think he's a smart player. He kind of gives you that Isaiah Simmons kind of vibe, even though Isaiah Simmons kind of slowly working his way in Arizona from being a bust, I guess. That's what some people label him as. But I'm gonna go with I think Detroit's gonna make a surprise here and go with Malik Willis at number 2.
Really?
Yeah.
You have them going quarterback.
Quarterback, why not? Quarterback in Motown, perfect for Hard Knocks. They'll highlight this quarterback competition that really won't be a quarterback competition because they want to sit him.
Really? Okay.
They can sit him because Jared Goff is on contract for 2 years. He has the most potential. I could see Detroit.
Okay, so you think a quarterback will go in the top 5?
Yeah, and I think Dan Campbell also he was eyeing Malik Willis at the Senior Bowl, but he was trying not to look like
He wasn't like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, he wasn't trying to give it away.
Mike Tomlin was, and also being the coach, he has the extra opportunities that other guys do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go with Malik Willis at 2, Kenneth. I like that. Okay. Okay. Because I don't really think if a quarterback will go in the top 5 this year.
You'd be surprised. It always happens, right?
Houston. I feel Thibodeau here.
See, this is where I'd go with the Kyle Hamilton.
You think Okay.
I think Kyle Hamilton, because they lost Justin Reed in free agency.
That's right.
He could play under that Tampa 2 defense that Lovie Smith obviously loves to run. Mm-hmm. So I could see them going with Kyle Hamilton, a player like that, kind of leader for that locker room, that young team that they have. So
go with Hamilton, Ken. Let's go with Kyle Hamilton off the board. I dig that as well. I like that. Okay. The Jets. Now, they have 2 picks in the top 10, obviously, from the Seahawks. At 10, they have, they took Zach Wilson last year. Pretty much went all offense with Wilson, Elijah Tucker. Elijah Moore, and then Elijah Vera Tucker. Michael Carter as well.
Yeah.
Extremely offensive based.
They had a really good draft though.
Yeah.
Overall, when you look at all the rounds, they pretty much nailed every pick.
So do we feel like it's an offensive or defensive based draft this year for the Jets?
I would say defense. It's more defensive based. I think they could add another receiver probably, like with that Nets pick that they have upcoming in the top number 10 overall.
Yeah.
So I think they could go receiver there. They could add another offensive tackle because apparently like they're unsure of Mekhi Becton. Like he hasn't really been healthy and he hasn't really produced like they would expect from him, being the number 9 pick and everything. They had George Fant playing at left tackle, so I think could they go with Ikem Ekwonu or Evan Neal? Sure, but I believe they're going to stick it out with George Fant and
Mekhi
Becton and just let them play and see which one figures, like, let them compete to see which one plays left tackle, and then the loser obviously plays right tackle. So I see them going with the defensive end opposite of Carl Lawson, who they're dating back this year. I think that's going to be huge for that defense.
And then added with Quentin Williams in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking Thibodeau?
I'm thinking Thibodeau here.
I like that. Thibodeau, I mean, on paper, he's a freak athlete. Instantly you get the Myles Garrett comparison to him just from the sheer his size, his athletic ability. I mean, like I said, to me, he's probably the biggest boom or bust guy because on tape, when he does get worked, he's a guy who you can see gives up. And you can see that about any athlete, So I like the pick. I like Thibodeau a lot. He's probably the most freakish guy in this draft.
Agreed. Yeah.
So, and I mean, for a guy who we thought would go number 1 and then had all this, his stock fall a little bit to still go in the top 5, can't really argue with that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like draft like experts who are saying like he could fall out of the all the way out of top 5 into like late number 9 or number 10. And I'm like,
he won't.
There's no way he's going past 5.
He will. He'll go in the top 5. So Thibodeau is the pick here. He's our little commissioner over there. Okay, the Giants. Okay, I think offensive line is what we're thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what
offensive tackle. Offensive tackle in particular.
Tackle, yep. I'm gonna go with that. Although tempting is Ahmad Gardner. I think he would be a tempting pick. Corner out of Cincinnati, long, lengthy,
especially when you kind of consider James Bradbury's future is kind of cloudy right now because there were rumored trade talks, but nothing really has formed yet. Mm. But also now it sounds like the Giants are trying to reconcile with Bradbury and try to make things right.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting. But I do think, you lose Nate Solder. He hasn't been picked up anywhere yet. And then you lose Will Hernandez in free agency as well, your starting guard.
Well, they didn't lose. They got rid of.
Well, they let him go.
Will Hernandez. They let him go. Yeah,
they let him go for the right reasons. So their offensive line's a mess, and I feel like, if Brian DeBall is gonna try and revive Daniel Jones' career, almost in a Josh Allen type of way, you have to protect him up front
for sure. Now the question is, which tackle are we going with? Ikem Ekwonu or Evan Neal?
It's got to be Evan Neal, I think.
Really, personally, I would say Icky. I think just that versatility of playing, like Evan Neal can play guard and tackle as well, but I think Icky is quicker, kind of meshes well playing opposite of Andrew Thomas. I don't know. That's a toss. We could do a coin flip for that.
I'll never forget when the Giants drafted Andrew Thomas he was a top 10 pick, right?
Yeah.
And Andrew Thomas wasn't even the best tackle. Like, clearly wasn't the best tackle in that draft.
Yeah.
Giants are going to Giant. Let's go with Ikem.
Ikem? Okay.
Let's go with him. The Giants get their tackle.
Don't go based off me. I want you to feel strong about your picks too if you want them.
So, I mean, you know a lot more than I do about this kind of. I know the baseline, but it's like the iceberg. I know the tip, below the iceberg. That's all you.
Right, got you.
So what? Panthers are next, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I feel like this would be where quarterback is, right? But since we were risky, since the Lions shocked us all, I still think Carolina will go quarterback here. I think they're very high on Kenny Pickett.
That is tough, man. To be honest, I think a team like Carolina should trade back. especially if they're going to choose Pickett or someone. Well, I wouldn't say Pickett, but trade
quarterback.
back. They don't have a pick until the 4th round. Their next pick is in the 4th round.
Right.
So I say trade back, get a 2nd round pick, get a 2nd round pick. Choose a guy like Matt Corral in the 2nd round. Choose an offensive tackle in the 1st round because let's face it, I'm trying to think, Jeff Oda, who they selected in the 1st round, I believe in 2008, the Panthers haven't had a really stable left tackle.
Not since Jordan Gross retired.
Yeah, Jordan Gross.
Yeah. God, that was so long ago.
So I think they would be tempted to get a guy like Evan Neal from Alabama, has to plug him and play him at left tackle.
I like that. I think, for the quarterback, I'll make the case, obviously the Panthers are super aggressive trying to land a quarterback, right, in the offseason. You look at Matt Rule, that's a guy who's fighting for his job this year. And I just feel like what better way to extend it by drafting a rookie and, having him develop and having to wait it out and see what you have in him.
No.
So quarterback, I like the quarter. Or you said tackle, right? Evan Neal?
Yeah. But let's go quarterback with this one.
You want to go quarterback?
Yeah, we'll go quarterback.
Let's go with Kenny Pickett here then. I thought if any quarterback will go, it'd be Pickett.
Yeah, the one thing, the familiarity with Matt Rule, he recruited him tried to recruit him to go to Temple. So they still have that kind of connection. So I think Kenny Pickett's the pick.
Kenny Pickett too close. The Giants, again. So now I believe that you secured your tackle. You can get a little fancy with this pick, right?
Yes.
It's whatever you want to do.
And this is remember how I said, you could say Ahmad Gardner could be the pick at number 4. Well,
the way it's fallen,
he's still on the board.
You can get him here at, what are we, 8?
Yep.
Yeah.
This is how I win.
I like Gardner. He's obviously the best corner in this draft. He's long. He's lanky.
7. We're at 7.
Or 7.
Yeah.
He's long. He's lanky. He has all the things you want in a corner. He's the best corner in this draft. There's no other way to put it.
Really?
I think so.
Yeah, I'll put him number 1 too. I think but it's not too far off to put. Like if someone said Stingley's number 1.
Yeah, and to be fair with Stingley, he got hurt. He hasn't been drafted yet, has he?
Nope, he's still available.
It's about to change here soon, I feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go with Gardner here then, Kenneth. Oh, Atlanta's interesting. Atlanta. Okay, so who we have on the board? Stingley, Charles Cross, Evan Neal. I don't know what you do for Atlanta.
Well, I think losing Calvin Ridley for a year, that hurts them. I think receiver is a position of need right now. Their best receiver on that roster is Auden Tate.
Kenneth, go to the wide receivers. Let's see what we got.
I would say pass rusher too, because this is a guy where you can choose Trayvon Walker from Georgia, bring a guy home. That's tough. But if I had to choose a receiver, I think I would go with Drake London from USC.
Agreed. He's people kind of forgot about him too because of all the hype from the Ohio State guys and do it with Wilson and Olave, and then all the receivers that ran so fast at the combine. I think London kind of got forgotten about and all that, but Drake London still is like your prototypical wide receiver 1.
He can go up, high point the ball, can play on the outside in the slot. Kind of gives Atlanta that Julio Jones
type feel to it.
So
I like it.
London.
Yeah,
plus, USC, fight on. So I gotta go with it.
Yeah, let's go with Drake London here, Kenneth. That's the guy. So we got what? Seattle?
Yes, Seattle is on the board. They don't have an offensive tackle.
I was about to say we got 2 good ones here.
We got 2 good ones still. Why not Evan Neal? Let's go with Evan Neal.
Evan Neal, I agree.
Alabama.
He's a mammoth of a dude to begin with, and you got to protect whoever's playing quarterback.
The last 2 tackles drafted in the 1st round by Seattle, at least in the top 10, I know Walter Jones and Russell Okung.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah,
so.
Both those guys had pretty good careers.
They did.
Yeah, Evan Neal. So the Jets now. Okay, so you draft Thibodeau at 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
I noticed Stingley's still on the board here at 10. I'm not opposed to the Jets double dipping. You get your defensive end to pair with Quentin Williams and Carl Lawson coming back. Why not double it? Get your cornerback one. Because, I mean, you lost Marcus May to free agency, so your secondary kind of took a hit.
Mm-hmm.
Bring in Stingley, who, to some people is the best corner in this draft. And he had a blazing 40 time yesterday at LSU's pro day.
Agreed.
Yeah, why double dip a defense? Why not? You went all offense last year.
I mean, you could say, because Garrett Wilson from Ohio State. I mean, another receiver.
There's still so many good receivers.
Yeah, that's a tough one. But we did mention this class is very deep at receiver, so the Jets could find a guy in round 2.
I mean, you got Elijah Moore in round 2, right?
Last year.
Yeah.
They can get a Jahan Dotson or a Christian Watson if they fall
at the top of round 2.
Yeah, so
corner
ain't a bad option. But they did pick up DJ Reed from Seattle in free agency.
Yeah.
So you got one spot locked down. I know this is a position where he would have loved to have, if Robert Saleh had his preference at which DB he would rather draft, I'm pretty sure he would have went with Ahmad Gardner, just because he's long, kind of gives you that Richard Sherman feel.
What he had in San Francisco. Yeah,
exactly. So, but I think he'll be happy settling on Derek Stingley.
That's no slouch's prize right there.
Yeah.
Is everyone with Stingley?
Yeah, we're gonna go with Stingley.
Let's go with Stingley then, Kenneth. So Washington is interesting because I feel like this is another quarterback spot potentially, but I mean, you already gave up picks for Carson Wentz. So I feel like this year you're probably going to roll with Wentz no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like this may be a wide receiver spot, maybe. Get somebody opposite Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, agree. And why not get
former teammates?
Why not get you got 2 Ohio State receivers in Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. Why not add another? Why don't we get Garrett Wilson?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Garrett Wilson, he's got to be the guy right here. He kind of can do it all as a playmaker.
And plus, I think, isn't Terry in the last year of his contract too?
He is.
So, depending on how that goes, you get his replacement right here.
And I mean, and you have 2 good backs. You have a solid tight end in Logan Wilson. You have a okay offensive line. So I feel like this is Carson Wentz's best chance to do something with his career.
Yeah, he can't complain after this. Like, this is
Right.
his last straw playing with his team.
Let's go with Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State. Who was that, Minnesota?
Yep.
Okay, so what? Last year they went. Where'd they go last year in the first?
Last year, who did they go with?
Was it the tackle?
Yes, Christian Darrisaw from
Yes.
VTech.
That's right.
Yep.
That's
Thank you,
right.
Kenneth,
Thank you, Ken. Shout out to Kenneth for pulling that up so fast.
Yep.
It's Darrisaw. That's right. So, I mean, you have your tackle, and there's still a plethora of offensive tackles on the board.
They could add a receiver too, because I mean, Adam Thielen, he was kind of in a slump this year. Didn't have his best year. Justin Jefferson, solid. Why don't you get a third receiver? But they also have questions at that DB spot.
You bring back Patrick Peterson, and I mean,
you let go of Jeff Gladney, who was a former first-round pick.
Right.
Went to Arizona.
Harrison Smith is getting a year older.
Mm-hmm.
What corners are on the board, Kenneth? Let's have a looky here.
Trent McDuffie, Andrew Booth. I probably would prefer Andrew Booth Jr. out of Clemson. So, yeah.
Now, because I feel like regardless, since the days of Xavier Rhodes, the Vikings' problem has been corner. They've been getting torched at corner.
Yeah. And especially playing in a division with Aaron Rodgers. You need someone to.
Oh, let me throw a walk card at you. How do you feel about defensive tackle? You lose Linval Joseph.
Yeah.
You have Daniel Hunter on one side.
Well, they're going to a 3-4 scheme because they hired the Rams, I'm pretty sure, like, linebacker coach. Or no, they hired the Broncos' former defense coordinator.
Yes. I'll find the name for you.
But so they're going to a 3-4 scheme. They picked up Zadarius Smith. Him and I believe Daniil Hunter are going to be your 2 pass
Outside
rushing,
linebackers, yeah.
outside linebackers. What we call them edge rushers nowadays. We don't define them. We don't label them. 2 edge rushers. They added Harrison Phillips from Buffalo in free agency. They still have Dalvin Tomlinson on one side as well.
Ed Donatel from Denver, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ed Donatel from Denver. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in a position where you have Dalvin Tomlinson, you have Harrison Phillips along the defensive line.
Oh, I forgot they signed Tomlinson from the Giants. Never mind. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So you could,
Beef it up,
have
but
the trifecta and get it.
Right.
I know where you're going with Jordan Davis from Georgia, right?
yeah.
I would.
But I forgot they'd spent money on Tomlinson in free agency.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably corner. Yeah, with Booth is probably the best.
Yeah, but they could be a team that surprises you and draft a receiver like a Chris Olave.
The Vikings are weird.
Yeah, but let's go with corner here.
Let's go with corner. Let's go with Booth here. So Houston again.
Ooh.
And they just who do we pick for them? I already forgot. I'm tripping.
It was Kyle Hamilton.
Hamilton. Okay, so you got the safety. Interesting here, right?
So I feel like at Houston, you have 4 options here.
What do you got?
You got, let's say, a Devin Lloyd. I see him on the board.
Right.
Linebacker, good linebacker that can fit that 4-3 type of scheme that Lovie Smith runs.
Could be your single caller.
Yeah, sideline to sideline player, great. We can talk about Trayvon Walker. I think he's still on the board.
Yeah.
So that could be another guy as an edge rusher. And then we look at, let's see. Yeah, offense, actually 3 options. So yeah, offensive tackle as well because
Charles Cross.
They still trying to kind of figuring that out. I don't know if they're playing Titus, what's his name? Titus Walker or Titus
Howard?
Howard, yes, Titus Howard. I don't know if they're going to stick him to guard or tackle. Also, questions about Laramie Tunsil and his future. You never know.
Right.
That is tough. Or, but I was right. 4 options. You can go with a plug-and-play defensive tackle in Jordan Davis who can control the defensive line. So that's another fit as well. I'm going to say they go with Charles Cross. Why not help your quarterback in Davis Mills?
Help him, protect him as much as you can.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think Cross, probably one of the more athletic tackles to come in the draft this year. I think his speed is, for a big dude. I mean, not to mention all these guys ran fast, I might add.
Yeah, this was one of the fastest.
All these guys ran fast.
I think maybe since they had that year off from COVID, I think the combine, what's called measuring, I don't know what they call them, but the timers. Right. I think the timers were probably off this year. Maybe.
Hey, I'm not going to question it, but I like Charles Cross here. I feel, and also the value, because I think Cross was a guy who potentially could have been in the top, 11, with Seattle or, wherever. The value here is too good to pass up, I think, with Charles Cross.
Agreed.
So let's go Cross. Then we got Baltimore.
Ooh. Okay, this is where the big guy comes off the board. I would go with Jordan Davis here.
They need another big guy in the middle of the defensive line.
Yep. Calais Campbell still a free agent, which they could bring him back. But even if they bring Calais Campbell back, I think this still is a great pickup.
Yeah, and Brandon Williams, who was their other defensive lineman, is getting another year older. And actually, I believe he switched to right end, right?
I think Brandon Williams is a free agent. Actually, they did re-sign. They signed Michael Pierce after Minnesota released him, so they brought him back.
But hey, Jordan Davis. I mean, not to mention, his speed for a dude that size. Speed is the word. Speed is the word of the day here on the show.
Yeah.
So let's go with Jordan Davis here, be the big guy from Georgia off the board. Philly. Now this is where it gets interesting for the Eagles, right?
Yeah, definitely. They signed Kaiser White from the Chargers to be one of the linebackers. I could see them going for a Devin Lloyd. here.
That's what I was. Because also, when you think about the Eagles, they did not bring back Alex Singleton,
Yeah.
who was their leading tackler, and I believe also was their green dot guy. He was your Mike linebacker, so you still really haven't found a true one yet.
Yeah. But Trayvon Walker is still on the board, and that's another pass rusher. Derek Barnett,
Kind of
solid, but he hasn't lived up to
right.
the expectations in Philly. You have him. You have Brandon Graham coming back from that Achilles injury. Yep. Josh Sweat. So I think.
And you have Hargrave in the middle still.
Yeah. So.
I'm gonna lean more towards Lloyd here. I feel like you have enough pieces on the defensive line to get by.
Okay.
But you still kind of lack that dominant 1A linebacker.
Yeah, I will agree. I agree.
You agree with that, Floyd?
With that. Yeah.
Or Lloyd, I mean. So Devin Lloyd is our guy here. Okay. So the last pick of... should we do the second half next week?
Yeah, we could.
We do it next week. So let's do... last pick here of our half is the Saints at 16. DeAndre, I'll let you get your input in here first.
Ooh.
Because I already know where I'm going to go here with this pick.
Okay, well, you have the Chargers on the board, and that's... they can choose an offensive tackle.
Right.
So, and the Saints, they lost Terran Armstead, so obviously offensive tackle was a need for them as
right.
well. But they can also use a receiver. But they still have that pick at 19, so even if a Chris Olave is off the board, you can still get a Jameson Williams or... Can you pull up the receivers real quick? I just want to see who's... Yeah, Treylon Burks. So yeah, you could still get a...
You're guaranteed one of those three.
Yeah. So I'll say Trevor Penning is the pick here.
That's my exact logic as well. I feel like, and it's a point I made on the Canal Street website. I feel like the jump to 16, if it is to take tackle and wide receiver, if that is truly what they're going to do, I feel like it was to leapfrog the Chargers, because when you think about the Chargers, they spent all that money on defense. Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Sebastian Day-Jones. They spent all the money on defense, right? Mm. Well, in order to do that, they had to cut Brian Bulaga, who was their right tackle last year. Now they have a needed tackle, because obviously you have Rashawn Slater on the left side. So now you need another tackle to protect Herbert. And I feel like Penning was the guy they were aiming at in the middle of the first round.
Yeah.
So I think by leapfrogging the Chargers, the Saints have almost guaranteed themselves one of these premier tackles, whoever it is. For the sake of this mock draft, I think it's going to be Trevor Penning.
Yeah, I like Trevor Penning. I liked him at the Senior Bowl. Big, nasty dude. He pissed a lot of defensive linemen off during that.
Them big old Iowa boys, man.
He's also crazy. Well, he's a bit crazy too in a way. Because funny fact about him: the night before game days, he loves watching horror movies. Like, apparently that gets him.
That's your kind of tackle, then, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Well, who doesn't love horror movies? Why not?
No, I think Penning. Yeah, he's super athletic. Almost like Teron Armstead in the sense of he was a small school tackle, really gained a lot of traction, after the combine and the pre-draft stuff. Super athletic, has all the power you want from your tackle, and again, his edge and his chip, the nastiness he plays with.
Yeah,
dig it.
And Mekhi, I remember we talked with Mekhi, and he thought of Penning as a reach at this point, which I agree, in a way, because I think he's probably 25th on the board, in that 20-25 range. But New Orleans, obviously, they have a need at tackle, and they look at a team like Los Angeles that has tackle as a need as well. So I feel like right now, at this point, it's one of those safe reaches for them. So
because it's a need, but at the same time, the talent drop off from Penning to later in the rounds, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
So get your tackle here and get whichever one of these receivers is on the board still.
Agreed.
So yeah. Let's go with Penning, Kenneth. Oh, yeah, okay. So that's going to wrap it up. And we could do the second half next week with Javonte and Tony here, and we can get their inputs. But overall, I think it's a pretty solid first half of the first round.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of damn, we really left Trayvon Walker. Because I've seen, a lot of people ever since the combine, put him in the top 15 at least. But who knows? Because he's still raw, so I think that could be something that, teams are, hesitant to do,
Right.
But I think it's solid. I like it.
Yeah, I like it. I think, and again, come draft night, hopefully we can get everything worked out and do something here, like a live stream, a show,
Mm-hmm.
have everyone here and have people comment and input. It's going to be an exciting draft, really, because there's no clarity at the top of the draft. There's no like top 5. We can just sit there and go, oh, it's quarterback, tackle, defensive end,
Yeah.
quarterback, or whatever. You know, like it truly, we don't know what's going to happen. I think.
Yeah, agreed.
I dig it though, and we had one quarterback or 2 quarterbacks go.
We did. Yeah.
Pickett and Willis
In the top 10. I know. I did not think about. I did not think this would happen, but we did. We made it happen.
It makes it more fun, right?
Yeah,
so, yeah, we'll do the next half next week, and we can get the same draft results and everything in order. We can do the same second half. Ken, do we have time for a little bit Dre and Jay talk or no? Okay. So now it's just Dre today, obviously.
Yeah.
There's no Jay. I will fill in the role of Jay.
Oh, okay, so you're gonna go ahead and
I'm gonna crap on everything.
hype up the whole MCU.
I'm gonna hype up the MCU. Crap on Boba Fett.
Yes.
Deservingly so.
Crap on DC. Some DC. Crap on Man of
Man
Steel.
of Steel.
Yep. Go ahead.
Superman is not a superhero.
He was not a superhero in the movie. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
All right, thank you, Jay.
I can't fill the role Javante fills.
Oh no.
Javante's role is legendary. I can
Yes.
only aspire to like a tenth of that. But what's going on, Yandra? What's going on in the world of nerd stuff?
Man, where do I begin? I guess with Warner Brothers, man, and Ezra Miller. That's crazy story to happen. In Hawaii.
Over karaoke.
Over karaoke. A couple was singing The Shallows. Lady Gaga.
Maybe he liked the original movie better. That's why it's maybe.
I'm not gonna lie. There are certain songs where like people love them so much that they hate when people butcher them. So I understand. And in situations like that, you're like, oh man, I'm so annoyed. But like to actually verbally abuse these people.
And then they got a restraining order against him, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Apparently, like he trespassed and like he went in their room and like threatened them, and it was just.
It's a bad
I
look.
could pull up the whole details, but like it's crazy.
So it kind of just makes you wonder, like, what? Because I mean, you're assuming Warner Brothers had plans after the Flash movie.
Well, the thing is like the Flash movie is kind of like the major thing for Warner Brothers because they can't really move on from anything until after the Flash movie. Like that's where they built it on, as far as the future of the DCEU, which is crazy. It's crazy. And in the Flash movie, it was already a film where I wasn't like excited about based on rumors because of all the shit they were trying to get rid of with the Henry Cavill Superman, like all these storylines. And I'm just like, oh my god! And then them trying to feature Supergirl as the main Superman in the DCU,
And then like the rumored Justice League would be like Flash, Batgirl, Supergirl, Shazam. And it's like, that's so lackluster.
And I'm like, we ain't even had the original on screen like that, man.
We got them for one movie.
Oh, God. And it was the Josh Whedon. The one that I saw in theaters was the Josh Whedon one. They should refund every person who saw that damn movie. Refund them their ticket.
So I don't know what they're doing.
That is terrible. I mean, I hope Ezra Miller gets the help that he needs because
it's happened before.
Yeah, he had that choking incident, which is crazy as well. So, and then there's rumors about him on set, like his on-set behavior. It's a tough situation for Warner Bros. To be in, and again with the Flash movie, another thing I didn't really like about it was all these changes. I mean, you call this movie Flashpoint. Well, one, I don't think the first Flash movie should be Flashpoint. I think that's something you say for a later movie because of how many states are involved.
Well, I think for
movie.
the current state of the DCU, I think they're in need of a hard restart.
That's what I'm saying. Like they don't really care about like, oh, let's make a good Flash movie. They're like, let's make a Flash movie that can help reset the DCU for the future. Because to be honest, I was disappointed when they didn't cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne. Flashpoint Batman.
They brought back Michael Keaton Batman, and it's like
terrible choice.
It's like, okay, so here's my thing with the Batman, the Keaton movie, right? It's cool and all because I get it at the time, in what the late 80. When did it come out? Late 80s?
Yeah.
So, like, it had never been done before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, and my problem with Batman is, like, what's so memorable about Michael Keaton's Batman besides it being the first? Nothing, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a reason why I would talk about Jack Nicholson's Joker more than Keaton's Batman, right?
Yeah.
So I don't get what all of a sudden the infatuation is with Michael Keaton's Batman, because he's going to be in Batgirl apparently, and I don't know what the direction is. I really don't.
And to think, because like his universe is all weird in the first place because
Tim Burton.
it takes place in the same, like Tim Burton's universe takes place in the same universe as Joel Schumacher's. It's just rewritten, like, you know, kind of redeveloped because they wanted to establish a lighter tone, a more goofy, sillier tone than what Tim Burton initially had.
Right.
Because they had the same Alfred, they had the same Commissioner Gordon, you know, like the whole story, like Val Kilmer and George Clooney's Batman's history is Michael Keaton's Batman. Like everything they dealt with was what Michael Keaton was, because they are the same person. So it's like, you see that. How do you explain Michael Keaton seeing this Batgirl, knowing that he had a Batgirl, technically, when he was George Clooney?
So they could get time travel right.
It's so many things I think it's just going to confuse so many fucking people.
Exactly. And it's just like, it's like to do the Flash movie, did you even need to bring back all this old stuff? Like so, you know what they're doing? They realize, so Marvel connected Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Tobey's to the MCU, right?
Yep.
Let's connect the old Batman movies to the DCEU.
And it's sad because, like, you know, like Javante, like, he probably be like, oh, I told you so, all this. But it's kind of the same situation when Batman v Superman came out, you know? Like, They had Civil War, so they said, all right, bet, we're going to have Batman v Superman.
You didn't build it up whatsoever.
It didn't build it up. And I feel like they're doing the same thing here because it's like, hey,
time travel.
We're having multiverse. We're having time travel. Spider-Man already did it, but we're going to do it too.
Hey, I want to correct you on that. Wolverine did it.
Days of Future Past. They did do it.
They did it the right way.
But this is multiverse. This is
Yeah, that's true.
There's another level.
Right.
It's crazy.
It's
man.
confusing.
I love the Flashpoint storyline. I love the comic. I love the movie.
The anime movie's goated.
Great. Phenomenal. And I liked it because, as I mentioned earlier, there were stakes involved. Like you had Wonder Woman and Aquaman battling. You had characters that you loved in DC dying. Wonder Woman killed a Shazam as a child. Like that movie was so like
Bruce Wayne was dead.
Yeah.
I mean, and Captain Atom was used as like the nuclear power, in Atlantis.
So there was just many great like.
Yeah, and then at the end, Barry had to sacrifice his mom dying all over again to restore things the way they were for the better good of the world.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Al. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How attached to you? How attached are you to Ezra Miller as Flash?
None whatsoever.
If you
Ezra Miller's Flash. Can you, Kenneth? Can you live without Ezra Miller's Flash?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you get so because.
To be fair, they never really gave him a good chance.
That too.
Yeah, that's true. Because I mean, you barely saw them in Justice League.
Because in Whedon's Justice League, I hated him. I couldn't stand him. He pissed me off throughout the movie. I was like, this guy's terrible. But when I watched Zack Snyder, I was like,
I can get behind
he ain't bad. That scene did it deserve the damn Oscar for fan appreciation? Probably not over those other scenes, but still, it was a memorable scene.
Could they have fixed the running for Flash?
They could have done that as well.
That was in the writing plans. They said that the Speed Force made him run weird.
I don't care what the Speed Force makes you do, Kenneth. Run like a normal athlete.
It doesn't look cool.
It doesn't look cool.
Well, he's a nerd that got powers, though.
I guess, yeah. Imagine, no. I'm just thinking about it like this. Imagine if it was like a huge anime fan that got Flash's powers and he just ran like
Naruto run?
Like Naruto run.
That'd be scary, to be honest.
Oh, man.
That'd be scary because, that means they're about that action.
Yeah.
That means they're about that action if they do the Naruto run.
It's not a situation where you can like look and be like, oh, shit, like this guy's running like Naruto. I gotta run from him. I can't fight him. No, because you're not gonna see him. You're not gonna see him run like that. You can't see it coming.
Exactly.
So, Yeah, he just hit the stand.
Let me ask you this then. Are you gonna watch Morbius?
Yes, we're planning on watching that next week. We honestly, it's just been a busy week. We haven't been to.
So it's not because the movie's bombed. You haven't gotten to watch it yet.
No, well, we were trying to go Tuesday. We're definitely going Tuesday for sure because that's when tickets are cheap.
This wasn't an opening night.
Yeah, it wasn't an opening night. Like this definitely ain't that. So yeah, we're definitely gonna wait Tuesday, go see it, do a review on our channel. We still want to go see Sonic as well. I heard that's really good. I'm excited for it. The Northman, I think that's a solid movie as well. Robert Eggers directing, so that's another one to check out. I'm trying to think anything else.
Did you cop your Doctor Strange tickets?
I did not yet. Did you?
Yeah.
Really? Nice.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah. But,
I'm not gonna lie to you, DeAndre. That Thursday, it's on a Thursday. May have to talk about doing the show another. But if you want to go Thursday night,
I understand completely.
I understand as well. So like, if you and Javante say we have opening night Thursday, let's move the show. Hey, I'm all for it.
All right, I'm here for it.
I understand where we're coming at because this is
go ahead
big.
and write this down. We're not going to be here Thursday.
This is big. It's a big night.
Yeah.
Morbius. This is my problem with Sony and Marvel properties is they make all these villains like anti-heroes. Like in the trailer, the original trailer for Morbius, it was like, is he a villain or is he a hero? I'm like, he's a villain. He's a vampire.
Yeah, I'm tired of them.
Same thing with Venom. Like Tom Hardy was cool and all as Venom, but then they made him almost a hero, like anti-hero, and I was just like,
the hero that saves people. I guess people are like, oh well, Joker, like he can have his own movie and all that. So I don't know why other villains. Well, yeah, Joker, but Joker, it's one. It doesn't follow that regular comic book vibe. It's just like it's a guy with issues like mental health issues.
Society crapped on him.
So it's one of those things, and I feel like Joker. Be honest, like he wasn't a hero in his movie.
No,
he did fucked up shit. He did
you're telling me people like if there's a Joker 2, right, which apparently the script has been put out to Warner Brothers, so they're reviewing it or whatever. Mm-hmm. If Joker was out there saving the world like Venom did in Venom, we'd be furious about it, right?
Oh yes,
because that's not Joker. Like that's not what a villain does.
Exactly.
They made you sympathize with him.
Yeah. They did, and I understand. And that's fine because even Joker in the comics, I sympathize with him in the Killing Joke. Like before he became Joker, like he was a guy.
His backstory, yeah.
Exactly.
It's whatever.
It's
whatever.
Man, but it's good, crazy. I actually like the first Venom over the second one.
The second one's horrible.
Second one is horrible, and I blame it because they butchered Carnage. Carnage was a character I was so excited to see.
He's worse than Venom. He's supposed to be like,
man, he was one. I think they said the movie wasn't it R-rated.
Yeah,
that shit was not R-rated to me.
There was not
to the level of what Carnage can do.
That PG-13.
That was not that was Marvel, Disney.
I mean,
it's a Sony movie, but Marvel property.
You got a taste of Carnage in the prison where he's like out there murking all the guard. You got a taste of it. Well, Carnage is Carnage is a rated R villain.
Yeah. Really? Well,
I heard Morbius cuts out scenes too.
I gotta see the R-rated cut, and that's the same thing with Morbius. Morbius, that's a hard R. Like that's
he's a vampire.
Exactly, man. Like I want a horror vibe. I want to go into this movie like I'm going to see a Riddler Dracula movie.
Like, you know what we're probably gonna get instead? We're probably gonna get one victim. Probably get some stupid
Yeah.
And then for him to go, who are you? We are Venom. It's just why?
When I saw that in the trailer, that's what turned me off for the movie.
Why did you feel the need to do that? It makes you didn't need that.
I was like, bruh, come on, this is some forced comedy here. I don't even think he knows who Venom is. Why the fuck would he say something like this? Like, does he know that Venom says that shit? How would he know?
Exactly. It's just
like, come on,
why?
Man.
No cap. Jared Leto, great actor as he is. He's a good actor.
He's good.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's solid, right?
I think some people I think he's a little bit overrated, but
he's a good actor.
He's good.
He's single-handedly put together the worst DC interpretation ever of a villain, and now arguably has one of the worst Marvel movies ever.
Yeah.
And the guy apparently went insane trying to do this role, and I was just like,
Yeah.
y-
On the bright side, though, it's like it's more of the movie was trash more than Leto's performance. Like Leto was
Yeah.
solid. I just heard the movie was trash compared to Suicide Squad, where movie was trash, Leto was trash.
Hey, you like her? God, that the moment I saw it,
You want no beef?
the moment I saw him in that nightclub running like a whole club, I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, driving around in the Lambo. Yeah, like Batman's not gonna catch you driving that.
He'll never suspect me in a
Never
Lambo.
suspect- Yeah.
I'm a villain. He'll never think I drive a Lambo.
A purple Lambo at that with white neon lights. Yeah,
They got Warner Brothers. They got to figure it out.
they really do, man. But lastly, I just want to add this because we have this upcoming weekend. I think the Discovery and Warner merger happening. So
Yeah.
a lot of changes for the people at the top. I know Ann
Thank
Sarnoff.
God.
She's gone. Who knows if Walter Amato leaves? But there's going to be some changes. So hopefully we have a more clear direction in where DC is going for the future.
One could hope that. We will hope for
Yeah.
that. Okay. I think that's gonna wrap things up this week. Any last words, DeAndre, before we sign off?
Man, I'll say this. Ezra Miller, I hope you get the help you need, my guy. Hollywood, the way y'all treating Will Smith, I understand the slap was wrong, but all this delaying his films and shit, y'all out of hand. Y'all doing too much.
I'll just say if Will Smith were not a certain tone, it'd be different. If you catch my drift, it would be.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, we know how it rolls in Hollywood. We know how the rich roll. So let's wrap things up this week. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment on this video. Drop some questions. We love to answer questions for next week's show. And until then, guys, you're going home with the final drive. Let's be on Spotify, Apple. And until then, see you guys next time.